في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 1552 شنت القوات العثمانية هجوما واسع النطاق ضد الأراضي الهنغارية، وتمكنت من اختراق حدود هنغاريا. وفي اليوم نفسه جرد ملك فرنسا هنري الثاني حملة كبيرة، وتمكن من احتلال منطقة اللورين التي استعصت عليه في أوقات سابقة. في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 1854 أبرمت كل من بريطانيا وفرنسا حلفا مع الدولة العثمانية، نصت بنوده على تضامن هذه الدول الثلاث ضد أي عدوان يقع على إحداها من جانب قوات روسيا القيصرية. في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 1930 أعلن الزعيم الهندي المعروف المهاتما غاندي بدء العصيان المدني ضد الاستعمار البريطاني في بلاده. وفي اليوم نفسه بدأت السلطات البريطانية شن حملة واسعة النطاق على كافة أرجاء الهند في محاولة منها لتشويه سمعة غاندي، ولكنها باءت بالفشل لرفض شعب الهند الأخذ بالشائعات التي أطلقتها السلطات البريطانية في هذا السبيل. ومن أنباء الهند في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 1967 استلام السيدة أنديرا غاندي مهام رئاسة الحكومة الهندية. في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 1978 اتخذ الكنيسة الصهيوني قرارا بشن حرب إبادة ضد عرب فلسطين في الأرض المحتلة، كذلك ضد قواعد المقاومة الوطنية داخل البلاد. وقال الإرهابي مناحم بيغن في هذا السياق: إننا سنقطع الأيدي التي تمتد نحونا. جاء قرار الكنيست هذا ردا على عملية استشهادية جريئة قبل يومين من هذا التاريخ نفذها المقاومون بتفجير باص بين حيفا وتل أبيب انتقاما لأرواح أبرياء سقطوا برصاص قناصة إسرائيلية وهم عزل من السلاح. في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 2008 بدأت في دكار عاصمة السنغال أعمال مؤتمر القمة الإسلامية، ويذكر أن المؤتمر أكد في ختام أعماله دعمه الكامل لمواقف سوريا في دفاعها عن قضايا الأمتين العربية والإسلامية. في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 2010 أعلن النائب اللبناني وليد جنبلاط على قناة الجزيرة مخاطبا السيد الرئيس بشار الأسد، أعلن قائلا: كنت في لحظة تخل فهل تتجاوز عني؟ وأضاف: ما قلته بحق رئيس الأسد غير لائق وغير منطقي وخارج عن الأدبيات السياسية. في مثل هذا اليوم من عام 2013 تم انتخاب البابا الجديد للفاتيكان الكاردينال الأرجنتيني خورخي ماريو بروغوليو البالغ من العمر 76 عاما، والذي اختار اسم فرانسيس الأول.
أصدرت القيادة العامة للقوات المسلحة المصرية بيانا جديدا حول نتائج عملية سيناء 2018 خلال الأيام الماضية. البيان أشار إلى تصفية خلية إرهابية تتكون من 6 عناصر في مدينة العريش، بالإضافة إلى مقتل 30 عنصرا تكفيريا مسلحا خلال تبادل لإطلاق النار مع قوة المداهمات في مناطق العمليات بشمال ووسط سيناء، حيث عثر على أسلحة نارية وأجهزة اتصال لاسلكية. القوات الجوية قامت أيضا بتدمير 12 هدفا تمثل أوكارا يستخدمها إرهابيون وفق ما جاء في البيان، الذي أشار أيضا إلى اكتشاف وتفكيك وتفجير 93 عبوة ناسفة تمت زراعتها على محاور التحرك المختلفة لاستهداف القوات بمناطق العمليات التي شهدت مقتل 22 ضابطا وجنديا من الجيش حتى الآن.
أعتقد أن المستفيد من استمرار العنف في مصر هي يعني الجماعات التي دأبت على تلقي تمويلات يعني أجنبية بزعم ما يروجون له من أفكار مغلوطة.
وبالتوازي مع المداهمات والملاحقات التي تقوم بها قوات الجيش، فإن عناصر القوات الخاصة البحرية تقوم بأعمال التمشيط وتضييق الحصار على طول الساحل قبالة مدينة العريش ومنع العناصر الإرهابية من الفرار. يأتي ذلك فيما تواصل قوات حرس الحدود بالتعاون مع التشكيلات التعبوية والقوات الجوية جهودها لإحكام أعمال التأمين على امتداد الحدود الجنوبية والغربية للبلاد لمنع تسلل إرهابيين وتهريب أسلحة وذخائر.
الأزهر لازم يكون له دور فاعل، الإفتاء لازم يكون له دور فاعل، الكنيسة لازم يكون لها دور فاعل. لازم النهاردة كل المؤسسات دي تنزل بكامل هيئتها وبكامل شيوخها وبكامل قساوسها وتفهم الشباب وتستقطب الشباب من خلال ندوات.
عملية سيناء 2018 كانت قد انطلقت في 9 من الشهر الماضي لملاحقة العناصر الإرهابية في شبه جزيرة سيناء وفي المناطق الغربية الحدودية مع ليبيا مرورا بدلتا مصر.
الجيش المصري وقوات الشرطة مستمرة من دون سقف زمني، والهدف هو القضاء على الإرهاب، لكن الأمر يبدو معقدا وفق مراقبين بسبب دعم جهات خارجية وإقليمية للتنظيمات المتطرفة. أمل الحناوي، RT، القاهرة.
نعم مباشرة سأنقلكم إلى الصوت والصورة من هنا من حرستا، ونحن نشهد خروجا للمدنيين أمنه رجال الجيش العربي السوري من جهة إدارة المركبات باتجاه مبنى المحافظة. نحن نقف في هذه النقطة، هي نقطة مقنوصة، لذلك سنحاول ألا نعيق خروج المدنيين ولا نعيق عمل رجال الجيش العربي السوري. دفعات حاولت الخروج يوم أمس عبر هذه النقطة التي أمنها رجال الجيش، لكنهم استهدفوا من قبل التنظيمات الإرهابية المسلحة، واليوم أيضا أثناء خروجهم تعرضوا لرشقات من الرصاص منعت أو أعاقت خروجهم، فرد الجيش العربي السوري على مصادر النيران وضغط على التنظيمات الإرهابية المسلحة من جهة إطلاق النار ليؤمن خروجا آمنا رغم استشهاد 3 مدنيين أثناء عبورهم اليوم. نقلهم مباشرة رجال الجيش العربي السوري إلى النقاط الطبية التي ستقدم لهم المساعدة. دقائق وتصل كل السيارات الصحية ونقاط توزيع الطعام على هؤلاء المدنيين الذي شهدوا ممرا لهم نحو الحياة بفضل هؤلاء الرجال. نحن نقترب إلى أقرب نقطة باتجاه خروج المدنيين، سنحاول أن نرصد الصورة عن قرب قدر الإمكان. ها هي أصوات المدنيين الخارجين نحو الحياة الذين اختارت إرادتهم التي نفخها فيهم رجال الجيش العربي السوري أن يذهبوا باتجاه المراكز التي حددتها الدولة السورية لإقامتهم المؤقتة ريثما يتم نقلهم إلى أماكن مخصصة للسكن تقدم كل ما يلزم لهؤلاء. ها هي أعداد من المدنيين أيضا تصل عبر هذه النقطة.
The Lord of hosts, Lord of armies. Today's the 22nd, March 22nd, the Roman god of war. It's a high, the first day of a high satanic holiday for these devils, man. The 22nd, 322, Skull and Bones. Basically, these major false flags is all set up, man, by the elites. The elites are setting this all up, man. These shootings, these bridge collapses, because a major false flag is coming. A major false flag is coming, man. That's gonna make 9/11 look like an inside job. That's what they're prepping the people's minds ready to make shootings and explosions seem like a normal thing, and militarizing everything. And these devils are militarizing everything, man. They're militarizing everything, man. You take the trains, what do you see? You see motherfuckers with SWAT teams, man. In the train stations, man. To take away people's rights, because Texas is a gun state too, man. You got a lot of people out there that got their guns, man. You got Edomites and you got Jakes. You got Israelites, Edomites, heathens out there that have a Bible in one hand and a gun on the other, man. You got them Confederates too, that's in the South, and they scream their Second Amendment right, and they don't want to give up their guns, and there's going to be a civil war in this country, man. There's going to be a civil war. There's going to be a civil war in this country, man. It's going to be a bloody civil war in this country. That's why people are prepping, man. They're prepping. They're getting ready because they know something's gonna happen. They know something major's coming, man. And I even got reports of officials like CIA officials, CIA agents, and agencies actually doomsday prepping and actually getting training when all hell breaks loose, man. Getting bunkers. You got a lot of high officials getting bunkers. They're getting ready for what's coming, man. But what is Jake doing? What is our people doing? Israelites shaking their ass, being stupid, being fucking retarded. Hey, 144. Being stupid, being dumb. Meanwhile, all hell's about to break loose, man. All these shootings, all these explosions, they're getting people ready to make this a normal thing. So when the major one does happen, they're gonna be like, oh, you see, we did this for you. We did this for you. We have to do this to protect the people. We have to do this to protect the American people, man. We can clearly see what they're doing, man. We can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. But only the elect. The blind sheep are gonna stay blind. If the blind lead the blind, they both can fall into a ditch. But these devils are getting ready, man. Revelations 12:12. The devil come with great wrath because he knows that he have but a short time. And the ones he's gonna come with wrath is all you tribes, all you Israelites, but especially those that are exposing the wickedness and the evil, the Rothschilds. Now, if you mention the Rothschilds, is an evil thing. You talk about the Rothschilds, you're considered a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. You're bugged out. There's something wrong with you. You know, anti-Semitic. You know, so now you can't even mention the Rothschilds. You're not supposed to just expose wickedness. You're supposed to just let wickedness go. Let it keep going, right? That's what you're supposed to do. And YouTube's attacking our channel also. Here it is. We got a YouTube channel, no views, but there's 3 likes on it. You know, suppressing this word, man.
Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And this is another incident. It just keeps going and going, man. You know? Live now, reported package explosion at Goodwill on Brody Lane.
He has friends that were acquaintances with the 2.
And this is in Texas too. So now they're doing it. You know what I mean? They're doing like little attacks spread it out, man. They're not just one attack no more. It's just one after another, one after another, man.
The information that we know, put it together for you, put it on the screen with what is happening right now, not only with the Austin bombing investigation, but also with the explosion investigation happening right now in Shirts. The big question this morning, are they all connected? We'll be right back.
So now they're saying the bomber's on the loose. The bomber's loose. Hey man, things are happening, man. You clearly see another explosion. It's like there's all types of explosions, man. All types of attacks. Spread it out. And this ain't the one in the FedEx facility, man. In Austin. This is in a Goodwill store.
Within the hour, there are reports of another explosion in Austin, Texas. It would make it the 7th incident this month. EMS officials say one person has been injured. It follows the explosion early this morning when a bomb went off at a FedEx facility near San Antonio. And just hours later, the bomb squad was called to a second FedEx facility near Austin to investigate a suspicious package which was confirmed to contain explosives.
We have our national response team here. We got canine explosive detection
the
canines
elites, the Rothschilds.
We have intel.
Look at that too. 9-6. 6-6.
Research specialists. We're working hand in hand with our FBI partners, state and local partners.
The FBI, ATF, and Austin police say the 2 packages found at the FedEx locations are linked to 4 previous bombings earlier this month in Austin.
Now, you know what? Let me know. All these little bombs here and there, and I believe they're speeding it up because a lot of people are catching on to them. Like they exposed that Las Vegas was an inside job. You know, a false flag. Look at this, man. I mean, am I tripping? 3-9 10 to 6 upside down. 666. 906 66. There's all numerologies with them, man. March is a time when a lot of starting March 22nd. I guess they started out early, man. You know, I guess doing it on the 22nd will be too obvious. We go away and see we're 2 days shy from the 22nd. That's a high ritualistic day. The Belgium attacks and Brussels attacks was on the 22nd. The Archer Ball last year was moved to Italy on the 25th. Or this month, going all the way to April 1st. You know, these are all omens, man. And there's gonna be more. There's more attacks, more explosions, more false flags.
There's a shooting in Great Mill High School in Maryland. The school's on lockdown. Hey, man, all hell's breaking loose, man. Shootings all over the damn place, bridges, explosions. America's #1 in shootings, man. We're supposed to be the place that God blesses America. Satan's blessing this damn place, man. You know? But the Great Mill High School in Maryland's on lockdown for a shooting. You had another shooting. You had that shooting in Florida, in Miami. There's a lot of shit going on in the world, man. And people are just zombies. You know, the zombieism, the shit's getting even more and more. People are becoming more and more zombie every day, man. Too many damn chemicals, chemtrails, reading too many damn chemtrails, man. I seen what's going on. I just got word that this guy hit up that it was a Texas chemical explosion plant out in Texas. Like I said before, this is the month where the Roman god of war marches, the fire and sun rituals, man. The Waco, Texas. The Oklahoma City bombing, fire and sun sacrifices around this time. So that chemical explosion, we don't know exactly what it was, but who caused it. But the whole matter is the vibrations in the air. The vibes in the air, man. That vibe's in the air. Judgment, 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 judgment. The bridge falling yesterday, now this. You know?
These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. The Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adino the Esmite. He lifted up his spear against 800, whom he slew at one time. And after him was Eleazar the son of Dodo the Ahohite, one of the 3 mighty men with David, when they defied the Philistines that were there gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave unto the sword. And the Lord wrought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to spoil. And after him was Shammah the son of Agi the Hararite. And the Philistines were gathered together into a troop, where was a piece of ground full of lentils, and the people fled from the Philistines. But he stood in the midst of the ground, and defended it, and slew the Philistines. And the Lord wrought a great victory. And 3 of the 30 chiefs went down, and came to David in the harvest time unto the cave of Adullam. And the troop of the Philistines pitched in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in an hold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And David longed, and said, Oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And the 3 mighty men brake through the host of the Philistines, and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto the Lord. And he said, Be it far from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these 3 mighty men. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief among 3. And he lifted up his spear against 300, and slew them, and had a name among 3. Was he not most honorable of 3? Therefore he was their captain. Howbeit he attained not unto the first 3. And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in time of snow. And he slew an Egyptian, a goodly man. And the Egyptian had a spear in his hand, but he went down to him with a staff, and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and slew him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among 3 mighty men. He was more honorable than the 30, but he attained not to the first 3. And David set him over his guard. Asahel the brother of Joab was one of the 30. Elhanan the son of Dodo of Bethlehem. Shammah the Harodite. Elika the Harodite. Helez the Peltite. Ira the son of Ikesh the Tekoite. Abiezer the Anathothite. Mabani the Hushite. Zalman the Ahohite. Naharai the Netophathite. Heleb the son of Baanah the Netophathite. Ittai the son of Ribai out of Gibeah of the children of Benjamin, Benaiah the Pirathonite, Hidai of the brooks of Gaash, Abialbon the Arbathite, Asmaveth the Barhumite, Eliabah the Shaalbonite of the sons of Jashan, Jonathan, Shammah the Hararite, Ahiam the son of Sherah the Haravite, Elipheleth the son of Ahasbai the son of the Maacathite, Eliam the son of Ahithophel the Gilonite, Ezrai the Carmelite, Paarai the Arbite, Igol the son of Nathan of Zobah, Bani the Gadite, Zelek the Ammonite, Naharai the Beerothite, armor-bearer to Joab the son of Zeruiah, Ira an Ithrite, Gareb an Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, 37 in all.
You guys just don't stop, do you? You Meta Valley guys just don't stop. Have not you seen the news the other day on Fox 5? You talk about us and expose us for our evil. You're labeled anti-Semitic. We do the evil behind closed doors. We're the ones doing all these false flags, spraying the chemtrails, doing all this weather modifications, the HARP. Yes, that's us. We're doing all these things. We're plotting to basically implement the New World Order. And you guys out there teaching the truth and exposing our evil is really irritating us. You know, this is March. This is our time of the month, March 22nd. The Roman god of war marches. Like you always say, it's true. All these false flags and rituals. Fire, sacrifices. And a major false flag is coming. A major false flag is coming. And we're going to implement the New World Order. And open up these camps. Implement the RFID chip. And now you can't even mention our names. Because if you do, you're called a conspiracy theorist. But it's not a theory. It's a conspiracy. But we conspire to put everything on lockdown. And we at the door of shit hitting the fan. Shit is gonna hit the fan. Because we're coming with great wrath. Because we know we have a short time. We know it. We know it. And when you guys say it, we listen to you guys. What you're saying is the truth. You're preaching the truth. And now we're in the last days. We're being exposed. And we don't like that. We go in secret and hiding. That's our power. Secrecy. But now, with this internet, it backfired. The internet was really for us to spread wickedness in the four corners. From what we thought. But now this truth is out. And we're being exposed. And we don't like that. That's why the time is running out. And soon we're gonna lock things down.
First and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem El Shai. This weather's upside down, man. This freaking winter weather in late March, man. You know? Winter weather in late March. Supposed to be a fourth nor'easter coming in. I believe 5 to 8 inches. You know, the way the weather is now, it might be a snowstorm in the summertime. This weather's all messed up, man. It's freaking backwards, man. You know, the fourth nor'easter, you can feel in the air. Hey, that DC lawmaker came out and basically said that the Rothschilds are the ones manipulating the weather, doing the HARP, messing up the planet Earth. And now they said it was anti-Semitic, what he said, and they demonized them. And if you talk about that, then basically you're a conspiracy theorist or whatever, man. So we at the end, man. You know, definitely at the end. This world is upside down. Freaking winter weather, December weather in late March. The whole cycle of the world is upside down. You know, it's everything's upside down, man. Everything's upside down.
Empire, how about Shem Yahushai? You know, we're back at it again. We're back at it again. On you devils. And basically the wake-up call is coming. You tribes, your nigga wake up call, your Jacob wake up call is coming. Eagle face Trump, right? He said it prior that he's gonna change. He wants to stop the EBT and basically he's hand out boxes and rations, man. That's what Eagle face Donald Duck Eagle face Trump wants to do. And there's a video online of EBT of Trump. They call it Trump boxes, Eagle face Trump boxes, man. And basically what he wants to do is stop the EBT and basically give out rations, man. And that's pissing off Jake, you know. That's gonna piss the hell off Jake because they're gonna cut the EBT. The welfare programs are getting cut off. The Section 8 is getting cut off. All these programs that Esau's been giving you tribes that you've been complacent and comfortable, the Most High through Esau is pulling out that carpet, man, and you falling straight on your ass. Everything we've been talking about, man. We've been doing these videos trying to warn your asses, wake your asses up to what the hell's going on, talk about real ass topics, and you tribes, you still asleep. A lot of you still drooling out the mouth, man. Not considering, yo, let me take this serious, cause things is not looking right. Things ain't looking good. And things ain't looking good. Things ain't looking good. Anybody with a common sense and with some type of logic will see what the fuck is going on. But the scriptures talk about that. Isaiah 32:9. Rise up, you women that I ease. You know, and you Edomites, you want more assistance and food stamps than Israelites, man. So you Edomites are gonna suffer, man, too. That's the FBI statistics, man. You got more Edomites than Israelites on food stamps, man, and EBT. So can you imagine when they take out those EBT cards, and a lot of them EBTs, man, when it comes on the 1st or the 2nd of the month, they'll exchange that for money and cash money or whatever. They won't buy food with that, man. They'll go to the bodega and make a deal. All right, give me $60 and I'll give you $100 in food stamps. Give me $60 in cash. That's what be happening. But Trump gonna go all that shit out. Them days you claiming this babe 3 children. Now for you to claim a child, you gotta go through hell. You gotta show a birth certificate. You gotta show that you're related. If you're a family member of the child, you gotta show proof that you're related somehow to the mother. Show birth certificate, social security cards, all that shit, man. You know, Trump is just cutting everything. All the little pleasures that you had that Esau gave you, he's ripping that away. And whose households are gonna suffer? The tribes. Your household's gonna suffer, man. I saw that video online, or the Trump box, man. You know, they really gonna do it. Whether that video's legit or not, they really gonna do that. They're gonna do that. They're gonna starve the people out. They're gonna close the tunnels. They're gonna close the highways. They're gonna shut the shit down. You saw last year when they had that glitch for 7 states. What happened? They had that glitch for 7 states. People went crazy. They couldn't get no Popeye's chicken. They was losing their goddamn mind. But what does the scripture say? Isaiah 33. Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability at times. Being stable in your mind, or when the hell comes, when all this comes. Because it's coming, man. And Jakes is very picky with their food, boy. You give them a food box or a food bag, they be picky. You know what I mean? So can you imagine when he shut that, when he completely takes it out? The child support too? Cuts down on the child support. Yo, Trump, Eagle face Trump is not playing. Eagle face Trump, everything he's saying, he's doing it. You know? The spirit of the devil's in him. The spirit of Satan is in that man. Prideful as hell. Starting war with the Russians. Firing the Secretary of State and not even telling him. Before he came back from his trip to Africa, he was fired. And he didn't even tell him. He tweeted the shit. This is a joke. This country is a joke. And then they say Oprah's gonna be the next president. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Yo, this place is finished. The elites are telling you in their face. This place is finished. But the only ones that think this place is gonna keep going are you tribes. You keep this place going, man. You keep this place going. You're the ones that's having this place keep going, man. But that's it. That's it, man. That's it. And what did Michael Jackson say? That's it. That's it. That's it for you devils, man. And the majority of our people that's not getting your mind right with God, with the Most High, with His Son, because His Son's coming back. But you got to get your mind right down here, man, before entering into the pearly gates into the kingdom. You got to get your mind right here, man. Our people's been too edematized and traumatized and westernized in the society, man. Now our mentality is going back to the east. That's where we're going back to, where we belong. Because I personally want to get the fuck up out of here, man. You know, and all the other brothers that are sincere too. We want to get out of here, man. This is not no joke. This is not no game. This is deadly serious. This is deadly serious, man. I'm tired of fucking being irritated and pissed off, man. Every day it's just getting phone calls. I'm seeing our people fucking in poverty. All the hell. You messed up yourself because you live in check to check, so you can only do so much. That shit's oppressing, man. But scripture say oppression maketh a wise man mad. And all you tribes that think you're not oppressed, guess what? You're gonna get your reality check, man. You're gonna remember how you got here to America. You're gonna go back to remembrance and find out who your enemy is. Esau and these other heathen nations, man. And you Israelite foreigners better wake up too. You Israelites that look like other nations, you better come back in your right mind, your right spirit, and come back to where you come from too, man. Like you Sicilians, man. You black Irish, all right? You Irish Israelites, you Sicilian Israelites, you Italian Israelites, all right? You're gonna have Israelites scattered in the four corners of the earth, man. Why do you think these devils taking down our live streams, taking down our channels, man? Live stream, he's taking down our live stream so bad because we pushed that out heavy, man. The Israelite foreigners. This ain't no black thing. This ain't no black supremacist thing. This is an Israelite thing. This is a family thing. This is a seed thing. This is a lineage, genealogy thing, man. And the Lord's coming back for His people, man. It's like a father that has children all over the place. If he's a righteous father, he's gonna try to look for his children, man. His lost children. That's what we're in right now. The Most High is closing up the breaches, man. Israelite foreigners and the 12 tribes, starting with the remnant. That's the tabernacle of David. That's the kingdom of heaven. Because we want to get the fuck up out of here, this place, man. We want.
Part of Washington, but I gather in the stairwell of Trayon White's apartment building, he actually had an avalanche just on his floor. That's how micro-targeted the big Jew weather machine is able to be. And you may think it's a light snowfall, but if you actually examine it, it's actually small pieces of gefilte fish, which is why it doesn't melt. And that's why the Jews control the snowplow business, so they strip all the gefilte away, and they use it to make Louis Farrakhan Calypso albums, which they put out to discredit Louis Farrakhan from telling the truth about the synagogue of Satan. It all makes sense.
See, the funny thing is, I don't know, it's funny, it's actually so appalling and shocking that it's I'm just going to laugh about it. That was, you made me feel better about a city out of control. So then I want to run this by you. Maybe you can make me feel better about this too. There's a new uproar on social media over microaggressions at UC Santa Cruz. The school has assembled.
Okay, camera's on. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Mr. Chamada?
How are you?
What are you doing here?
I'm here for my land.
For your land?
Yes.
Okay.
That you take it.
Oh.
It was given to me 4 years ago by the government.
No, we've been to the SEDEC tribunal, as you know, Mr. Chamada.
Who's SEDEC? I'm SEDEC.
Yes, and SEDEC has said...
I am SEDEC.
SEDEC has given us full relief
I am SEDEC.
Until the main case.
I am SEDEC.
Yes.
And they have the same feeling
and
as I
SEDEC
have.
has said, until the main case, you cannot interfere.
Is that why you're refusing to get out of this farm? Tell me.
This is my home, Mr.
It is your home. Well, you're in the wrong home. Who did you pay? The African, or you paid another white fellow?
We paid transfer duties to the Zimbabwe government. We bought it on a willing seller, willing buyer basis.
Is it?
We didn't steal it.
Is it? Now, anyway, that's unfortunate because we've realized without land, we have nothing. That's why we're here. And
but you've got land, Mr.
We haven't got land.
I've been to your house in Harare.
Yes. Have you?
Yes.
You've been raiding my home also.
No, I've driven past it. The guard wouldn't let me through the gate.
Is it? So what were you looking for?
I was coming to see where you lived.
And do what?
Well, if you want to steal my house, maybe you can give me your house.
The land belongs to the black peasants. It is ours. The government took it from you people to redistribute it to the black poor majority.
And ministers are the black poor majority. Every time you come in a brand new car. This is Toyota Prado.
What is this going to do with
worth
my
about
land?
$50,000 US.
But what is this going to do with my
Last
land?
time it was a brand new white twin cab.
Yes.
Before that it was a Jeep Cherokee.
How about you?
Before that it was
How
a lorry.
about you?
Brand
How about
new
you?
lorry.
Hey, that has nothing
Now,
to do with all
if
that.
you've got all this money, why can't you buy somewhere?
The land belongs to the black peasants. There are a lot of Africans in
So is
Harare.
Minister Shamir a black peasant?
He's a minister like any other black person that deserves land. Look at you. You so greed.
I'm so greedy. So you come and steal my house. You come and steal my farm.
You are sitting on
and you say that I'm greedy.
You are sitting on
I paid for it, Mr.
You paid for it. Wait, I can't buy land in UK.
Why not?
My father, as it is now, everything that he has in London, in America, has all been frozen. You've taken it. My father is not even allowed to go to your country. But you're still here.
But you can own land. It's just the ministers that have got targeted sanctions on them for what they've done to this country.
My friends, you take all the land from us, you starve us, you bring sanctions, in the end you want to cripple us so that you can take over. It will never be a colony again, this country. It will never be a colony. I will sleep here until you are out. And I mean it. I want you out. We are so tired of you guys. You come here, you grab every nice thing away from us. Everything nice, you take it away.
We own about 2% of the whole land in Zimbabwe. Can a white person not be a Zimbabwean anymore?
Not anymore, like our
Why
president
not?
indicated to you crystal clear. They indicated to you that we don't want to have anything to do with you people. We have shifted from you guys to the Asians. We have nothing to do with you.
So a white person can't own a house, can't own
We're not
any land,
happy
can't do
with
any
the white
farming.
fellows because we've realized your attitude is cantankerous. We want to deal with friendlier people. The Chinamen, many of them. Indian, not you. Not you. We don't want you anymore. Get it right? We don't.
But we are Zimbabweans.
We don't care whether you're Indian, Malawi, Karanga, whatnot. We just don't want you in particular.
Just because we're white, eh?
Anyway, I'm not talking to you anymore.
These niggas are tired of Esau.
Whatever you want, I'm happy. And I'm telling you, the land belongs to us. End of story.
The Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua alerted me to an article I read this morning. And the article was about how Russian nukes basically undetected out there in California. Yeah. So they're secretly already doing drills out here on the coast of America, man. Secretly doing drills. We want to talk about when the war gonna start. The war has already started. Look at the chemtrails, man. Oh man, these devils. And then there's the crazy part about it. Nobody sees what the hell's going on. And they even getting artistic with the shit. They got X's. They're doing X's, man. You gonna tell me this place is gonna keep going? What the hell's wrong with you people, man? Talk about war. Shit, that's when is the war gonna start? We're already at war. Biological warfare, man. That's war. They're spraying hella chemtrails, man. Again, they're getting artistic with the shit too. These Satanists, these satanic devils, these Edomites are getting artistic with the shit, man. You know? But them Russian nukes are undetected, man. You know? Hey, giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And I just had a sister write in a comment that you know, you got brothers out there that be on point, man. They be circumspect, watching the news. You know what I mean? That's where it's supposed to be in, because we're newscasters, man. We're the real newscasters, man. Through the Spirit and power, how about Shemi Yahushua, the prophets? That's what they are. They're telling you what the hell's going on around the world, man. They're filtering it through the scriptures. You know, you have
Russia, now the United States. You know, shout out to the brothers and sisters out there sending in links of what's going on around the world, man. You have the U.S. is pointing fingers on Russia for hacking nuclear facilities, power grids, man. You know, they point the finger at Russia. They're just trying to start a fight with Russia, man, really. You know what I mean? They got the sanctions that they push on Russia because they're blaming them for that nerve agent attack in the UK, which Theresa May was cursing out Russia. And Eagle-faced Trump even said it also. Eagle-faced Trump blamed Russia and condemns Russia. You know? There's just a lot of beef going on, man. A lot of beef. And that's the Mossad doing that. The Mossad is bringing on... He's bringing on the beef, man. He's bringing on the pain. You know? He's bringing it on, man. That's the spirit it's supposed to be in. Getting the hell out of here, man. So you receive the kingdom and get some peace. You know what I'm saying? We need to get the hell up out of here, man. Well, yeah, they're blaming them for hacking the nuclear facilities and basically calling Russia terrorists, man. That's really what they're doing. They're saying Russia did the nerve agent attack, right? Now they're hacking the United States, the U.S. and say, oh, yeah. And they're also hacking the power grids and nuclear facilities. The cyber attacks. Which the United States was blaming them too for basically interrupting the elections. So cyber attacks, wars or rumors of wars, like it says in Matthew 24:6. Yeah, I personally feel it, man. Like, I feel like something big's gonna happen, man. Most I put in our spirit to see the news, and that's all we think about. That's all we see. That's all we think about. Watching the news, seeing what's going on, and even in our spirit too, we could feel something's gonna happen. Major things is going on, man. They're saying they have 7 days to take out those 23 diplomats out there in the UK, and that's an embarrassment. Basically, shaming Russia internationally, man. You know, shaming Russia internationally. That's the spirit. Right in front of me is 1-800 wheatgrass. Now you better get your greens. It's a spirit. I'm drinking this naked. You know, even though it's not the real thing, but somebody bought it for me. Got the wheatgrass or whatever, garlic, whatever. But basically, grass green is paradise, man. Grass green is paradise, man. Green is truth. That's the spirit. Green is truth, man. You know, that's the times we're living in. We at that time, man. You know, we at the time. So brothers and sisters out there, see what's going on. Stay in the spirit, man. Yo, any day, man. You know what, guy? You can wake up and something major happen in the world that's gonna shake shit up. And that's the times we're living in. We're living at that time where the Most High gonna start shaking shit up. He's gonna start shaking shit, man. Which he is. Just start shaking shit, shaking stuff with the shit of the world, man. This whole Russia thing in the United States and North Korea and China. Iran dropping the US dollar. China's about to follow up. China's following up too. India, you know, cursing out China. India and Pakistan going at it. There's nothing but war in there, man. The biggest spy scandal since the Cold War. With this whole nerve attack. The biggest spy scandal since the Cold War. And that's the times we're living in, man. We at that time now. You know? Me personally, I'm ready to get the fuck up out of here, man. I'm ready for the kingdom, man. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I'm tired of being irritated, man. peace in my life. The only peace we're gonna have is in the kingdom, man. We get the crops, we get the green, we get our land back, we get peace, man. Enjoy the earth that the Lord made, the masterpiece the Lord made. You know? I'm tired of this fucking city life, man. I'm tired of America. I'm tired of Babylon. I wanna go back home to the land of milk and honey. You know? That's what it's all about. That's why the Most High is doing all this. To give us the kingdom. I wish I was going back. That's why he sent up the prophets to warn the sheep. And us knowing what we know, we're supposed to be serious, man. Not playing around, not goofing around, not joking. We're supposed to be serious. You know, we'll joke here and there, but even in our jokes are serious. There's not no fucking Kevin Hart shit. I crack a joke here and there. I joke too, man. You feel this laugh in the spirit, but even in my spirit, man, catching the jokes is getting less and less and less, man. Serious time. I'm like right next to me. It's a spirit, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like driving hoopties, man. Some guy can say driving hoopties. You know we had that. 10 years ago, they drove Benzes. They ain't trying to stop this word, but it ain't gonna stop. You know, the Most High showing us power, man. See these goddamn chemtrails. You can see that shit? Look at that bullshit, man. Fucking devils, man. And you got a lot of goddamn idiots out there. You can clearly see the chemtrail behind me. Look at that shit, man. Fucking biological warfare. You know? But Jake still want to be asleep, man. You act like we're the ones spraying this bullshit. But barium aluminum. These fucking zombies out here don't even see it. You know? And basically, the Most High is throwing a monkey wrench because Joe Biden and Eagle-faced Trump are going back and forth. I mean, Trump is just... He's all over the news, man. He's just doing his thing, man. He's being the devil. And basically, Eagle-faced Trump told Joe Biden... he said you're weak physically. He said you're weak physically. Joe Biden said, some WWF shit. He said, man, if this was high school, I would have beat your ass. And he called him the son of a bitch. So you can't tell me we're not at the end. The Most High is clearly showing you this place is a joke. It's fucking Comedy Central, man. /WWF. This is a joke, man. The Most High is throwing a monkey wrench in this shit, man. All praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. You know the prophecies is coming to pass. But we gotta be in the spirit. That bitch ass, weak ass spirit. Most High ain't with it, man. Most High is doing big things. Nor'easter was yesterday, first day. Was it the first day of spring, the day before? Got this goddamn nor'easter. Now it's all warm outside the next day. And they over exaggerate the goddamn. Oh, it's gonna be a foot of apocalyptic snow. No goddamn snow on the floor, man. Fucking weak ass society, man. Weak ass, pussified society.
Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rechak Kudash. Welcome to another Hebrew lesson. We're going to go over another 10 words in the Hebrew, in the Lashon Kodash. Today is March 21st, 2018. And I have 10 words. And I also have a couple of scriptures to cross-reference some of these words that we're going to go through. Excuse me. And pretty much we're just going to get to it, you know. The first word here is actually one Hebrew character, which is the letter or the Hebrew character Ha. And the Hebrew character Ha, just bear with me 1 second. The Hebrew character Ha is the. All right, and that's the way you would say the. There's no precept that's coming to mind, or a word that's coming to mind right now, but it's the, or you know, like you could say ha, Sapar, which is the book, which Ha is the and Sapar is book. All right, so the first word is actually a Hebrew character, Ha, which is the. Ha Sapar, the book. Okay, the next one is La. Just bear with me 1 second. La, which La is 2. Okay, these devils that call themselves so-called Jews, they like to use a term kosher for Passover, right? And they put kosher for Passover, La Pesach, right? Which is 2 Passover. You know, they say the Passover, but it's 2 Passover. I mean, you could use it for the, but really it should have been Ha Pesach if they, if you want to get technical. Ha Pesach would be the Passover. 2 Pesach would be 2 Passover. You know, so the Hebrew character La is also the word 2. That's what it means. You know, I mean, I went through the lesson of the letters and what certain ones of them mean. And the La means lamad, which means learn, you know, or to learn. So it's different from this, you know. So the La here, this usually would be accompanied with another word, you know, in conjunction with another word. Same thing with the Ha. Okay. All right. The next word we have, let me back this up a little bit. The next word that we have here is the word Aitazah. Now the word Aitazah is where you get the word tree. All right, and that's where you get the word tree. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the scriptures in the book of Genesis 1:1. It says, "And the power said, let the earth bring forth the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so." And as you read throughout the Hebrew portion of the this blue letter, you look through here and you have just bear with me 1 second till I find it. Right here, Zerai, which is seed, and Aitazah, which is tree. Scroll down, the word tree, H6086. The word is Aitazah. Tree, wood, timber, stock, plank, stalk, stick, gallows, trees, wood, pieces of wood, gallows, firewood, cedar wood, woody flax. And if I'm not mistaken, this may be the same word that's used in the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, where the Lord told Ezekiel to take the 2 sticks, you know, which is actually a plank. But in this case, this particular Aitazah here is speaking about an actual tree. All right, and it says, notice it says, "And the power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself." Because really, you're not supposed to have any seedless foods, you know, because the seed is what the Lord used to plant into the earth, which the seed would be the masculine and the earth is feminine. And that seed planted into the earth represents life, and it would bring forth fruit, and those fruit would actually have seeds in them, you know. And that's how you're supposed to have fruit. Fruit is supposed to have seeds in them, not be seedless. Like you have seedless watermelons and seedless oranges and seedless apples and seedless this and seedless that. They even making now, I heard they were making seedless avocados, I believe in England or in Europe somewhere, you know. So these devils, they're destroying the natural course of everything, you know. upon the earth, and it was so. So every fruit is supposed to have seed. All right, and that's how it grows. That's the natural order of things. Anything else is confusion, you know. All right, so moving on. That was Itazah, which is tree. Now the next Hebrew word, or Lashawan Kodash word, is the Hebrew word Abba. All right, and the Hebrew word Abba means father. Like in the case of our Father's prayer, it's Abba Nawa. All right, let me drop this down so we can. Abba Nawa, right? Which Abba Nawa means our Father, because the Abba is father and the Nawa or Nawa is our. So Abba Nawa, our Father. Now notice in the English it's our Father, but in the Hebrew it's Father our. See, because the subject comes first, you know, in all cases, you know, and there's a lot of languages that are like that the subject comes first, you know, and then whatever describes it comes after, you know. But in the English tongue, everything is backwards. All right, so Abba is father, as in Abba Nawa, our Father. All right, and when you go to the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, it says, Exodus 20:12, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee. And this is the first commandment with promise, as the scriptures say. If you honor your father and your mother, you would have long life or long days upon the land. Because there was also a law in Deuteronomy where if you had a unruly child that didn't want to work, or that was just a drunkard, that just was just out of whack, and just not, you know, a bad seed, so to speak, he would be put to death, you know. So he was dishonoring his parents, you know, disrespecting them, you know, and doing all type of madness. And he wasn't 5 years old either, you know, going to hell because he lied to his parents. You know, this is a man that is of age, you know, and then he would be put to death for disrespecting and dishonoring his parents. So this is the first commandment with promise, that if you would honor your father and your mother, you would have long, you know, you would live long, your days would be long. All right, so now as we look through here for the word Abba, as you can see here, H1, which is the very first word in the Strong's, is Abba. Okay, and this is the root word, father of an individual, of the Most High is father of his people, because the Most High is our Father. That's why we say our Father which art in heaven. And another reason why we say our Father which art in heaven is because Yahweh Shai adopted us back to the Most High. Because at one time we were considered orphans, you know. Let me just get that real quick. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, and just bear with me, I don't remember the exact verse. You know what, I'll just find it like this. Orphan. All right, here we go. Lamentations 5:3. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. Now this was literal, you know, because a lot of our, you know, forefathers back then were being put to death, you know, during these different captivities, you know, the Babylonian captivity. So we became orphans, but we also became orphans because the Most High pretty much disowned us. He turned his back on us because we turned our back on him. So when Yahweh Shai came back, he brought the adoption, and he gave us, he brought the adoption, and he adopted us back to the Most High. That's the reason why we say Abba Nawa, or our Father, because we have been adopted by the blood of Yahweh Shai back to the Most High, who turned his back on us because we turned our back on him. And as it says here in the book of Galatians chapter 4, And 6, I'll start at 5, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. So this is Yahweh Shai that came into the world to adopt us back to the Most High, because we went off and the Most High turned his back on us. And because you are sons, the Most High hath sent forth the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. And that's why now we say Abba Nawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayash, Shemka, which is our Father which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, so on and so forth. That's the Our Father prayer, because Yahweh Shai adopted us back to the Most High. Okay, so the word for father in the Hebrew is Abba. It says a head or founder of a household, group, family, or clan, ancestor, grandfather, forefather of a person, of people. So pretty much the father. All right. So the word Abba is father. All right. The next one, the next word. Let me move this down, and let me move this up. The next Lashawan Kodash word is Amma, which the word Amma is mother. Okay, and when you go to the book of Exodus 20 and 12 again, honor thy father and thy mother. And the word for mother here, H517, is Amma. It says mother of humans, of Deborah's relationship to the people, of animals, point of departure or division. So that's the nurturing side, the nurturing parent, which is the mother, and the father is the masculine, the one that would teach you how to be a man, how to conduct yourself and how not to use your emotions when you're actually conducting yourself in business or in decisions and certain judgments, but the mother would be the one that would nurture you, and would protect you as far as give you food and nurture you and and do the things that a mother does. Okay, so that's the word for mother. Now the next word that we have on the list is the word bun. And then you see here ba and a na, and this is connected, bun. This is a and a ma, but they're separate. Ama. A and ba, Abba. Ba and na, bun, because this is connected. Now the word bun means son. Okay, it means son. And let's go to the scripture, Genesis 4 and 25. And Adam knew his wife again, which Adam's wife was Eve, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For the Most High said, she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And we believe through the Spirit that was Abel coming right back, because the name Abel, Habal, means transitory, and the word transitory means to be here for a certain period of time and then move on. Like we always use the term of transit. Those buses, they'll come to a stop, they'll pick up the people, let off people, and then move on to the next stop. That's transit or transitory. You're just there for a moment and then you move on. So the reason why Abel was called Habal or transitory was because he was only going to be here for a short period of time and go back into the spirit world. So when the Lord blessed Adam and Eve to have another son, whom they call Seth, we believe this is Abel coming back in the reincarnation, coming right back, into the earth. And then through Seth is where you get that righteous line. And Abel is considered to be a righteous man, as it states, I believe that's the book of Hebrews. The 4th chapter. I'm sorry, not 4th, the 11th chapter. 11 and 4. By faith Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous. See, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. So through Abel, we believe, like I said, that Seth came back as Abel, because that righteous line had to come back, you know, because Cain was the wicked one, like it states in the book of 1 John, the 3rd chapter, and I believe it's the 12th verse. Right. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. So Abel was righteous, and Cain was wicked. So that's the perfect balance, you know. So when Abel came on the scene, Abel had to be the son, you know, which Cain killed him. So that seed, that righteous seed, had to come back. Otherwise, there would have been imperfect balance. So when you go to the 5th chapter and the 1st verse, this is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that the Most High created man, in the likeness of man made he him, male and female created he them, because the Lord created many people in the beginning, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. So there was a bunch of Adams created in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness, because Adam was righteous even though he went off. You know, because Adam is Yahushai. That is Yahushai in the reincarnation, after his image, and called his name Seth. All right. So Seth was the son that took over after Abel was killed, which the word Seth is Shath. You know, it says compensation here, but I'm not sure if that's the actual meaning of the name. I would have to do a little more research, because I don't remember exactly what it means, so I would have to go back. And but it says to put set, you know. I would have to go back and check that out, you know. But Seth is really, we believe it's Abel coming back in the reincarnation to reestablish that righteous line of Abel. It says, and the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters, and all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. And when you read Genesis the 5th chapter, this is the lineage of that righteous seed, of the sons of God, you know, the sons of the power. That's why when you read the 6th chapter, this is the men, these are the giants, or the fallen ones, because beginning from Adam, they fell from that great estate that they had, that great righteous stature or righteous way, and they fell away. Okay. And the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter, happens to be, when you read on down, Cain's descendant, this happens to be the lineage of the wicked. Okay. And the lineage of the wicked has similar names to the lineage of the righteous. It doesn't mean that if your name is Enoch, your line goes back to Cain. No, that's nonsense. And like they try to tell you, these so-called wacky ass Christians. All right. So pretty much the word we were looking for was the word son, you know, which was in oh, here goes another one here. This is, you have a word son here, and the word for son, okay, it's not in here. Let's go back. The word for son, as you see here, is H1121, bun. Okay, bun is son. Son, grandson, child, member of a group, son, male, child, grandson, children, youth, young men. And they use this word for children, and children implies male and female, like it says here, but it's not. When you read the scriptures, child implies, or children implies the sons of Israel. All right. All right. So moving on to the next word. All right. So we have here the next word, as you can see, is the word ach. Ach. Okay. Ach. Okay. And the word ach is brother. All right. The word ach is brother. And when you go to Genesis 44:23, It says, and thou saidest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And this was the patriarchs speaking to Joseph, you know, and Joseph was the one that asked for the youngest brother to come, because, you know, that was his brother by their mother, Rachel, and he wanted to see his face. All right, so the word here, brother, from H251 is ach, which means brother. Brother of same parents, half brother, same father, relative, kinship, same tribe, each to the other, reciprocal relationship or resemblance. And if you have the same mother, y'all are still brothers, you know, but your line goes back to your father, you know. Because if you have a mother that has two, if she's a slut and she has two men, and you have two different children by, you know, two sons by one son each man, they're still brothers through the mother, but they have different lineages of the father. Okay, so it's not just having the same father and different mother. You also have the same mother and different fathers, you know, because, you know, that's just the sluttiness that goes on. Okay, so the word for brother is ach. Okay, all right, so now we're going to move on to the next one, and let's drop this down so that we can the next word is the word bayan. Okay, and the word bayan, you could use you could use it as the word between, and also the word understanding. Understanding. All right, so it's between and understanding. All right, so let's go to the scriptures, because when you go into the book of Genesis, the first chapter, and you read about the Lord putting dividing, you know, between this and that, the word between there. Matter of fact, let me go to that real quick. Let me just put in between. Let me close that. Between. Okay. All right, it's not coming up. All right, so let's just skip that for now. I know that there's something in here a couple of times. So you have the word bayan, but let's go to let's see, where are we? Except your youngest brother. All right, here we go. Exodus 31, and I'll start at 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the spirit of the Most High, in wisdom and in understanding and in knowledge and in all manner of workmanship. So let's go to the word understanding. It's H8394, which is the word tha-ba-1, right? Understanding, intelligence, the act of understanding, skill, the faculty of understanding, intelligence, understanding, insight. But it comes from a root word, and the root word it comes from is H995, which is the root word bayan, to discern, understand, consider. All right, now, okay, so the word bayan is the word understand or understanding. Okay, to understand or understanding. All right, so we got that one, and let's go to the next one. The next word is chacham, and the word chacham, which is chacham is wisdom. That's where you get the word wisdom from. And when you go back to the same precept that we were just at, you have the word here, and I have filled him with the spirit of the Most High in wisdom You look up the word wisdom, H2451, Chakam or Chakama, right? And the reason why you have the ha at the end is because it's feminine. Wisdom is feminine, you know? So that's why it's considered as a woman. So that's why you have the ha at the end. Wisdom, skill, wisdom, skill in war, wisdom in administration, shrewdness, wisdom, prudence in religious affairs, wisdom, ethical and religious. When you look at the root word, chakam, H2449, which the word chakam is to be wise, to be or become wise, act wisely, to make wise, teach wisdom, instruct, to be made wise, to make wise, to show oneself wise, deceive one, show one's wisdom. Okay, so that's the word chakam, which is wisdom or to be wise. Okay, so when you're wise, it's chakam, and then wisdom, which is considered like a woman, has the ha at the end, chakama. Okay, so that's the next word, which is chakam, or wisdom. And then the last word on the list is the word yadai. All right, you got ya, da, and I, but the da and the I are connected. Yadai, which the word yadai literally means know or knowledge, because it goes back to the root word for knowledge. And in the same chapter and verse, you have the word here, and I have filled him with the spirit of the Most High in wisdom and in understanding and in knowledge. And when you come down here, the word knowledge, H1847, da'ith, which is knowledge, perception, skill, discernment, understanding, wisdom. And when you go to the root word, H3045, you have the word yadai, which is to know, learn to know, to perceive. All right, so that's the word for knowledge. So you have understanding, which is bayan, you have wisdom, which is chakam, and you have knowledge, which is yadai. All right, and those are the 10 words in for this lesson. Okay, and what I did was I paused the video for a hot minute, because I know that I saw, I knew we read this before, because we used to go through Genesis, the first chapter, a lot, where I mentioned that the word for understanding is bayan and also between. All right, when you go to Genesis 1 and 4, and the power saw the light, that it was good, and the powers divided the light from the darkness. Now when you look through here, you don't see the word between. That's why I couldn't find it. But when you scroll through the Hebrew here, you see alahayim, bayan, ha'awar. Okay, so wa bayan ha chashak. So it was the powers. It says divided, but the word for divide is palag. But the powers between, bayan is between, ha'awar, the light, wa bayan, and between, ha chashak, the darkness. Okay, and when you look through here, you see the word, there's nothing here, but you see the word bayan. So the word, in this case, the word divide is badal, and then it's also palag or peleg. But then when you scroll through here, you see a word here without anything there. That's the word bayan, and the word bayan, H996, is between, among, in the midst of, with other preps. From between. And then when you come through here, sometimes in the place masculine or feminine, properly the constructive form of an otherwise unused noun from bayan. You go to bayan to discern, understand, consider. All right, I just wanted to make that step, because I know we've gone over it before, but I just couldn't find it at the moment. So just wanted to share that with you brothers. So with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.
Turning to Syria tonight, fighting in eastern Ghouta continues. Syrian government forces have retaken 80% of the Damascus suburb. On Monday, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad visited recently recovered districts in eastern Ghouta And civilians continue to escape through a humanitarian corridor established by the Syrian army and backed up by Russian air power. Meanwhile, militants have fired a rocket into the suburb of Damascus today, killing dozens. For more on this, we go to independent journalist Rania Kalik, joining us tonight from Beirut. Rania, thanks for your time tonight. From your perspective in your reporting, what can you see? Has Assad finally established himself against the rebel opposition? And I ask that because he made his first trip into eastern Ghouta in a number of years just in the last few days.
Well, I would say, Ed, that he established himself against the opposition back when the Syrian government retook Aleppo. But eastern Ghouta is one of the last rebel strongholds that still exists in Syria, and that's quickly collapsing for them. And the Syrian government is retaking control, and soon they're going to retake control of all of it. And all that's left after that is Idlib, and it's really marks the almost end of the project to try and overthrow the Syrian government that the U.S. and its allies in the region initiated years ago. And now that's coming to an end. So it's a very big deal, the car ride he took into eastern Ghouta. There's also the issue of the fact that, as you mentioned today, there was firing in Damascus. These rebels in eastern Ghouta, which are a collection of Islamist Salafi jihadist groups that were funded by outside actors in the region like Saudi Arabia, have been firing on Damascus for years. And so people in Damascus are very excited at the fact that the Syrian state is retaking this area, because it means an end to the barrage of rockets that they've been facing for years that have been killing lots of people that we almost never hear about.
Rania, what is your perspective on Western reporting and how all of this has been depicted? Has it been jaded?
I think Syria has been one of the most propagandized wars, in my memory at least, even worse than Iraq, even worse than the way that Israel-Palestine is covered. The way it's been covered has been an extremely one-sided way. There's almost no sources that are independent on the ground in insurgent-held areas in Syria because they're held by Salafi jihadist groups that don't allow activism or journalism. And Western media really takes these insurgent groups at their word and just reports their side of the story. So in the U.S., in places like the U.S. and the West more generally, people have no idea how much the Western governments, especially the United States, has contributed to prolonging the bloodshed in Syria, or the fact that they basically funded death squads in this country that were dominated by al-Qaeda for several years. And now that's what's coming to an end. The way you look at it in the Western press, if that's where you're getting your news from, is you get the idea that there's this one-sided war where the government is just massacring civilians. But in fact, it's basically just been the Syrian state trying to stop itself from collapsing and trying to retake areas from death squads funded by outside players. And that's what's happening right now. So, you know, as they want to call it the fall of eastern Ghouta, just like they called it the fall of Aleppo, this isn't the fall, it's actually the Syrian state retaking an area that was under the control of what otherwise would be classified as terrorist groups in any other context, except in Syria, groups that are affiliated with al-Qaeda are called freedom fighters. So yeah, it's been a heavily propagandized war, and it's going to have ramifications for years to come. And people in the U.S. Really have no idea what's been taking place, and so they're going to continue to be confused as they continue to look to Western mainstream media for answers about what's taking place there.
And quickly, Rania, what about Erdogan, President Erdogan in Turkey, and their involvement against the Kurds in northern Syria, also where there are U.S. troops, U.S. activity there? How's that going to play out as you see it?
Well, it's really stunning. I mean, Turkey basically is occupying Afrin right now. They took over a Syrian city. And the U.S. is saying really nothing about this except for calling on all sides to stop. They're not saying anything about the fact that a NATO ally has basically, is using basically FSA, al-Qaeda-linked mercenaries to take over a Kurdish city. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, but it's a really, really big deal what happened, and Syrians are very upset about it.
All right, Rania Kalik, independent journalist with us tonight from Beirut. Thank you, Rania.
القوات العراقية المشتركة تواصل ملاحقة فلول إرهابيي داعش في مناطق عدة في العراق، إضافة إلى تعزيز نقاط المراقبة على الحدود العراقية السورية. نادية العبيدي.
في عملية عسكرية برية وجوية واسعة من 3 محاور استهدفت أوكارا سرية للخلايا المتخفية لعصابات داعش الإرهابية شمال مدينة كركوك وسلسلة جبال حمرين وحوض بحيرة حمرين، تمكنت القوات العراقية المشتركة من تدمير 7 أوكار لإيواء الإرهابيين في المناطق الوعرة والقضاء على 11 إرهابيا والقبض على 10 آخرين. وفيما أسفرت ضربات جوية عراقية عن تدمير رتل إرهابي مكون من 7 عجلات قرب منفذ تل صفوق على الشريط الحدودي السوري العراقي ومعسكر للعصابات الإرهابية في صحراء الأنبار الغربية المحاذية للحدود، والقضاء على جميع من كان فيه من الإرهابيين، استكملت القوات العراقية انتشارها على الشريط الحدودي وباشرت في مشروع تحصين الحدود بمنظومة مراقبة إلكترونية لمنع عبور الإرهابيين بين سوريا والعراق.
هذا الشق اللي هسه راح تشوفينه وتقدر تصوره، هذا عرضه 6 متر وعمقه 4 متر بينها، وهذا ارتفاع 3 متر كما هو. هل تشوفين ارتفاع كما 3 متر كما هو. هذا الخط النار، هاي المتحسسات، هاي تكشف يعني حتى إذا خلينا نقول حيوان صغير يوصل على مستوى متر تكشفه. وين تودي الإشارة؟ تودي الإشارة لهاي الأبراج، هاي الأبراج توديها لغرفة السيطرة اللي هو هذاك البرج، ينزلها على الموترايز اللي هو غرفة الكنترول.
وفي محافظة ديالى شرقي بغداد أسفرت عملية تعقب الخلايا الإرهابية الهاربة نفذتها قوات الحشد الشعبي العراقية في منطقة معسكر كراكوش وقرى الندى وقضاء بلدروز عن تدمير 5 مضافات لإيواء الإرهابيين والقضاء على 4 منهم والقبض على 8 آخرين. نادية العبيدي، تلفزيون العربي السوري، بغداد.
مدينة نابلس كغيرها من مدن الضفة الغربية تتعرض لهجمات استيطانية ممنهجة ومدروسة، ويواصل مستوطنو الاحتلال الإسرائيلي جرف الأراضي الزراعية والاعتداء على المدارس وإغلاق الطرق الرئيسية بحماية قوات الاحتلال.
محافظة نابلس وكغيرها من محافظات الضفة الغربية تتعرض لهجمة استيطانية منظمة ومدروسة، حيث أعلن مسؤول ملف الاستيطان في شمال الضفة الغربية أن المحافظة باتت اليوم منكوبة استيطانيا بكل ما تحمل هذه الكلمة من معنى، حيث أنه ومنذ بداية العام تصاعدت اعتداءات المستوطنين المتكررة على المواطنين وممتلكاتهم، حيث تم تقطيع وتحطيم مئات أشجار الزيتون، إضافة إلى اعتداءات على المدارس وتحطيم عشرات المركبات وإغلاق طرق رئيسية حيوية بصورة مباشرة من قبل المستوطنين أو من قبل قوات الاحتلال الإسرائيلي بمعدل 3 مرات أسبوعيا.
جنون الاستيطان في منطقة يتصار وبعض المستوطنات المحيطة يشمل عمليات هدم، مناطق تدريب عسكري، ولفترات طويلة استيلاء على أراضي، فتح طرق جديدة، محاولة زرع بؤر استيطانية جديدة، وكل هذه الإجراءات الهدف منها تقطيع نابلس إلى كنتونات كجزء من 170 كنتون في مناطق الضفة الغربية.
من جانب آخر، طالب المختصون في متابعة النشاطات الاستيطانية المتطرفة المجتمع الدولي بتوفير الحماية العاجلة للمواطنين في المحافظة، حيث يزداد التوغل الاستيطاني في ظل حماية معززة من جنود الاحتلال وتمويل غير محدود من قبل حكومته. وتماشيا مع هذا المخطط الصهيوني، يتم اليوم تحويل البؤرة الاستيطانية حفاد جلعاد إلى مستوطنة وتحويل براخة إلى مدينة، الأمر الذي يتزامن مع مصادرة مئات الدونمات الزراعية في المحافظة.
فعليا بدأنا في مشاريع التمدد الفلسطيني نحو حقنا، نحو أرضنا في المنطقة المسماة جيم. بدأنا بتمويل شق الطرقات باتجاه تلك المناطق، تحديدا باتجاه مستعمرة يتصار. سنحاصر هذه المستعمرات ولن نسمح لهؤلاء المستعمرين بمحاصرتنا.
يذكر أن غلاة المستوطنين حاولوا وضع بؤرة استيطانية على أطراف قريتي بيتا واللبن في ريف نابلس، فيما تصدى لهم المواطنون وأفشلوا مخططهم، فيما يعيش اليوم ما يربو على 30,000 مستوطن في محافظة نابلس موزعين على 12 مستوطنة و73 بؤرة استيطانية. بعيدا عن المطالبة بتوفير حماية دولية للمواطنين العزل في فلسطين، تتعالى أصوات شعبية بمطالبة الحكومة الفلسطينية بتحمل مسؤولياتها تجاه هذه الهجمة الشرسة من قبل المستوطنين والاستيطان من خلال دعم المواطنين في المناطق المحاذية للمستوطنات. سلام رام الله، الفضائية السورية.
It's the Real News Network. I'm Sharmini Pires coming to you from Baltimore. The invasion of Iraq, led by the US and British forces, began on March 19, 2003, with these words by President Bush and former Prime Minister of UK, Tony Blair.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
It concludes that Iraq has chemical and biological weapons, that Saddam has continued to produce them, that he has existing and active military plans for the use of chemical and biological weapons, which could be activated within 45 minutes, including against his own Shia population.
Leading up to the war in Iraq, we heard an echo chamber of rationalizations for the upcoming attack. Here is Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld and Secretary of State Colin Powell.
The United States knows that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Any country on the face of the earth with an active intelligence program knows that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction.
One of the most worrisome things that emerges from the thick intelligence file we have on Iraq's biological weapons is the existence of mobile production facilities used to make biological agents.
It was a war that completely destroyed Iraq and changed the dynamics of the Middle East forever. During the initial invasion, which lasted about 6 weeks, 380,000 coalition troops were dispatched. 192 were from the US and 45,000 were British soldiers and 70,000 were Kurdish Peshmerga troops. The Iraqi Republic's Guard were approximately the same number, but did not have the firepower of the US military forces. During those initial 6 weeks, nearly 200 coalition troops were killed, and somewhere between 30 and 45,000 Iraqi troops were killed, and over 7,000 Iraqi civilians were killed. President Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney demanded a swift action and justified it by saying it was to seize Iraq's unconventional weapons, or weapons of mass destruction.
The choice is his. And if he does not disarm, the United States of America will lead a coalition and disarm him in the name of peace.
All of the experience we have points in the direction that in the past we've underestimated the extent of his program. We've underestimated the speed at which it was developing. It's important for people to understand as well, too, the difficult nature of the target here in an intelligence perspective. This is a guy who runs a totally controlled system. He doesn't have to go to Congress to get funds appropriated to build a system. It's a dictatorship. Secondly, it's a police state. He runs a very brutal regime. Third, he has been very good at denial and deception. He's good at hiding whatever he's doing from public view, and therefore, as an intelligence target, it's an especially difficult proposition for us. We have a tendency, as part of the American character, to say, well, we sit down, we evaluate the evidence, we draw a conclusion. But we always think in terms of we've got all the evidence. Here, we don't have all the evidence. We got 10%, 20%, 30%. We don't know how much. We know we have a part of the picture. And that part of the picture tells us that he is, in fact, actively and aggressively seeking to acquire nuclear weapons.
Well, it was not swift. U.S. troops stayed in Iraq and continued the war for 8 more years until 2011. Coalition casualties, including the Iraqi security forces under U.S. command and contractors from private companies, reached over 25,000 dead, with nearly 120,000 injured. Iraqi combatants suffered losses of about 37,000. Civilians, however, paid the heaviest price, with estimates ranging from 151,000 dead to over 600,000. On to discuss this devastation caused by the US and UK and its coalition, I'm joined by two guests who have followed what happened in Iraq on a daily basis since the initial attacks. I'm joined by Medea Benjamin, co-founder of Code Pink. Thanks for joining us, Medea.
Thanks for having me on.
And we're joined by Sabah Al-Nasri, professor of political science at the Department of Political Science at York University in Toronto. Thanks for joining us today, Sabah.
Good to be with you, Sharmini.
Now, Medea, let's go back 15 years when President Bush announced that U.S. is going to war in Iraq. What were your thoughts and what did you do?
I had just returned from Iraq with a group of Code Pink women, and we had gone there to see what women in Iraq were thinking. And we came back with the sense of urgency to try to stop the war because they were so afraid of what a war would mean to their families. Many of them obviously did not like Saddam Hussein, but certainly didn't want to be, quote, liberated by the U.S. government through bombs. And so as soon as we had come back from Iraq in February, we were organizing just feverishly. And we thought that somehow, as good American citizens, if we did our job and mobilized lots of people, that we would be able to change our government's policies. We did our job as citizens. We did mobilize tremendous mobilizations, like the largest one global mobilization in history on February 15th, 2003. But unfortunately, it was not enough to stop George Bush. And on that fateful day of March 19th, 2003, when he announced the U.S. was going to invade, I remember just running out to the White House as we had been on a 4-month vigil saying no to the war, and being met by people who had come all over from Washington, D.C., hugging each other, crying, and feeling like a disaster was in the making.
Now, Medea, describe February 15th and what we saw around the globe that didn't matter to Bush and Cheney and his administration.
It was a remarkable time when millions of people came out on the streets all over the world in one loud, beautiful voice saying the world says no to war. It went down in the Guinness Book of Records as the largest anti-war mobilization. It sent a message to governments around the world that the global community did not support this. Unfortunately, George Bush called us a focus group, although the next day the New York Times came out and said that we were the second superpower, global world opinion. And indeed, if you look not at public opinion in the United States, which was very divided, but public opinion globally was very united, saying this would be a disaster and the U.S. and its, quote, allies had no right invading Iraq.
Sabah, now in that statement on the 19th of March, President Bush said that when he was speaking to the nation, he said that U.S. forces were already underway. So that was the 20th in Iraq. What were your thoughts when you heard those bombs falling on innocent children in Baghdad, your home country?
Let me go back to Blair's statement on Iraq before the invasion, when he was saying that Saddam Hussein has a weapon of mass destruction and he used it against the Shiite population. This sectarian discourse reminded me of Bush Sr. in 1991, when he called upon the, quote, Shiite population to rise up against Saddam Hussein, again using a sectarian discourse. This is very remarkable because it is a strategy that is used by the U.S. ever since the invasion happened in March 2003 to divide the country along sectarian lines and create a conflict among these coexistent community in Iraq. It was not collateral, it was not by coincidence, it was per design. And these are the things we were afraid of before the war started, before the invasion of Iraq. Looking at the documents, statements made by Bush and Blair, Rumsfeld, Cheney, and Richard Perle and co. But also the Iraqi exile opposition, unfortunately, propagated this discourse and supported by the US and the UK to invade Iraq and to come to power. We were afraid because we knew it's not about disarming Iraq, it's not about the so-called democracy of human rights, it's not about the liberation of Iraqi women. It is about occupation, genocidal practices, massive and mass incarceration and torture, and the introduction of the politics of war, what I call war of terror. And this is exactly how it started, with the shock and awe, which is nothing but a war of terror, and corruption. These two columns of the US occupation of Iraq, terror and corruption, are up until today determine the politics, the economy, and the institution and governance in Iraq.
Now, Sabah, what were your thoughts as the bombs were falling on Iraq?
Well, of course, I mean, we organized huge, massive rallies. I was at that time in Frankfurt in Germany. I used to live in Germany. And I went on the street the day or the night, actually, the bomb fall on Baghdad and Basra and other cities in Iraq. And we were marching in the street of Frankfurt with some huge, maybe the biggest anti-war rallies and maybe in the history of Germany. And sometimes while we were rallying, and I couldn't catch up with my comrades and friends, because sometimes I have to sit down and breathe, because I couldn't breathe for a while, sensing that bombs will fall. All these poor people who hate Saddam Hussein, who never elected Saddam Hussein, who was imposed on them also by the US, supported by the US, and now they have to pay the price for something, for the mistake of the US in Iraq. And so sensing that, this bomb will bomb Iraq back into the Middle Ages and probably massacre thousands and maybe 100,000 of people and displace maybe millions. This is an unimaginable scenario. So sometimes, as I said, I have to sit down and take my breath and then continue rallying, because at times I really couldn't breathe.
The Costs of War project by the Boston Institute for International Studies at Brown University estimates that the war in Iraq cost the U.S. over $2 trillion, when the costs of recovery of veterans are counted in. So now the other economists we know, Stiglitz, for example, says that the costs were more like $6 trillion. Just last month, Kuwait hosted a conference about reconstruction of Iraq, which still did not recover from any economic impact this war was supposed to produce. So give us a sense of how much did this war set back the Iraqi economy, and what were the real reasons for going to war in Iraq in the first place that wasn't said in those clips that we saw earlier today?
Right. A few months before the invasion of Iraq, when I was in Germany, I was following the conflict between the U.S. and Iraq since the 1991. And in a long essay, I have termed the never-ending story, the U.S., Iraq, and the war. And I was arguing that the project of the new Commons, supported by Zionists like Netanyahu, is not so much about weapon of mass destruction. They knew exactly that Iraq didn't have weapon of mass destruction. Otherwise, they wouldn't invade and make war against Iraq if Iraq had these weapons. And it's not about, less about oil, although oil plays, of course, a role, but it's less about oil. I was arguing that the strategy of the newcomers in the Middle East is to control the region through instabilities by creating more conflicts and war in the region. This is the only way they can control the region and destabilize Europe, Russia, and China. That's the geopolitics of it. And if we look at the consequences of the invasion of Iraq, not only domestically, as I said, the U.S. institutionalized terror and corruption, systemic corruption. Iraq today is one of the most corrupt countries on the face of this earth. And the scope of violence and corruption, it exceeds by far all the previous regime in the modern classical history of Iraq. So this is institutionalized by the U.S. It is per design. And as you mentioned, the Reconstruction Conference in Kuwait from February 14th to the 16th, actually, the Iraqi needed something around $100 billion to reconstruct the cities after the war against Daesh or ISIS. But the countries and the corporations and NGOs, etc., involved in the conference, they pledged only $30 billion to Iraq. But most of it, that means 95% of this money, was in form of loan, sovereign and non-sovereign loans, or investment, or export credit. That means all these countries, they were trying to support their own corporation to have access to the Iraqi economy, especially oil and gas and so on, and secure contracts. But really, they are not helping Iraq, because Iraq has, according to the IMF, this year something around $137 billion debt. So all these new debts for the reconstruction will put the Iraqi economy into massive problems. And the poor people, the working class people in Iraq will pay the price because of the corruption, because of the plundering of the wealth of the country by the governments, by the governing parties, by their militias and allies within the institution, outside the institutions. And the transfer of all this wealth outside of Iraq will starve the population of Iraq for decades to come. That's domestically. But regionally, if you look at what the war and the invasion of Iraq did, it destabilized the whole region, for it shifted the balance of power to the advantage of Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Israel, and so on. Institutionalized sectarianism, which we can see it up until today, in form of proxy wars in Iraq and Syria and Yemen, etc., etc. It introduces a new type of politics in Iraq, which is the militias. This is a new form of political organization in Iraq and in the region. We didn't have militias. It was introduced by the U.S., trained and armed by the U.S., and these militias control biggest chunk of Iraq or Syria or Yemen, Libya, etc. It introduces an enormous arms race that almost half of the U.S. export of weapons is to the region, and especially Saudi Arabia. And now it created a new crisis with the Gulf crisis between Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. And again, increases the arms sales and weapons in the region, which means it creates a new conflict, a new war, a new escalation in the region. All these are the consequences of the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Speaking of consequences, Medea, on May 1st, 2003, President Bush stood on the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier under the big sign that mission accomplished and gave a victory speech. So let's review the reasons for which Bush listed for going to war in Iraq in the first place. First, he said it was to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. I think it's safe to say that none of these goals have been achieved, nor weapons of mass destruction were found. And the people of Iraq are certainly not free, and former members of the Ba'ath Party have joined organizations like ISIS. And it's hard to claim that the invasion of Iraq defended the world from great danger. And if you take all this into consideration and what Sabah just said, what were the costs of going to war in Iraq for Iraqis, for Americans, for the world over, really?
One of the most depressing things I have seen on this 15th anniversary is a new Pew study looking at American attitudes towards this war, and a massive percentage, 43%, which I consider massive, said that it was the right decision. It should be 1% perhaps, the most ignorant people thinking it's the right decision. As Sabah explained, Iraq is a total disaster to this day, and we have not even talked about the number of deaths. I just wrote a piece trying to estimate how many Iraqis have been killed, because Tommy Franks, the general, said early on in the invasion, we don't do body counts. But, you know, what if the result after the Holocaust in Germany was the world saying, well, we don't do body counts? No, we should do body counts. And the U.S. has tried during the entire time since the invasion till today to refuse to talk about the number of Iraqis killed, whether it was by the U.S. or as an outcome from the U.S. invasion. And so we looked at the Lancet report that had been done back in 2006 that said 600,000 Iraqis had been killed. And this report, done by very professional people in a very professional journal, was pilloried by the U.S. government to say that it was totally exaggerated. And yet, again, the U.S. would not give its own figures. So we updated that using the same methodology. One would say that there were about 2.4 million Iraqis who have been killed as a result of this invasion. Now, I challenge the U.S. government, if they say that is a wild exaggeration, well, give us your own account of what has been the death toll since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. And that's not even talking about all of the wounded, the 4 million who have been displaced, the economic losses for the Iraqi people. We tend to talk about what it has cost us here at home. And indeed, there have been thousands of U.S. lives lost in Iraq and trillions of U.S. dollars. That really put the emphasis on what the poor Iraqi people have suffered since that invasion. The shamefulness that there are still 43% of Americans who say it was worth it, and the shame that nobody has been held accountable for invading Iraq on the basis of lies and absolutely destroying that country and unleashing, as Sabah said, the sectarian division not only throughout Iraq, but through the entire region.
Medea, one very unique feature that's prominent in the war in Iraq is the heavy use of private military and security companies, or PMSCs, I believe, what they are called. And Blackwater and Eric Prince became famous in that way in which we fought wars. And they weren't the only company that was used by the U.S. Now, in terms of contractors, at some point, they actually outnumbered the U.S. troops. So give us a sense of how this scenario of using contractors played out in this war, and of course, what it meant for the civilians on the ground in Iraq.
Well, let's remember that Halliburton got enormous contracts for the Iraq War even before it started. They knew that this was going to happen, and they had put in their bids. And ever since then, whether it is the weapons manufacturers, the security forces, or the Pentagon contractors like Halliburton, they certainly made a killing out of killing. And they have not been held accountable if there were security forces like Blackwater that massacred innocent Iraqis, like in Nisour Square, or just the fact that all of these countries were profiting from an illegal war with contracts that were cost plus, which meant they could not lose, and oftentimes such shoddy work that then they were fined by the US government. But being fined for shoddy work did not mean they wouldn't get a new contract. In fact, they kept getting new contracts. So while the US taxpayer lost what turns out to be trillions of dollars in a war that was not supposed to cost us a cent because it was going to be so quick and so cheap, and the Iraqis were going to pay for it with their oil money, really cost us a massive amount of money, but made a lot of money for the private contractors.
All right, Sabah, let me actually give you an opportunity to assess the situation in Iraq now. The war is considered past tense, but the soldiers in the U.S., from the U.S. remain, some of them in Iraq. We are hearing still bombs are falling on Iraq. What's the situation, and what is the political conditions that U.S. has left behind that Iraqis are struggling with now?
There are three issues, I would say now, 2 months before the election in Iraq. The first one is after the Iraqi army and the popular mobilization units defeated ISIS or Daesh in Mosul, in Tikrit, Fallujah, Ramadi, etc., and kicked out Daesh from Iraq, all of a sudden we hear attacks from Daesh again, and especially on the western border of Iraq, between Iraq and Syria. So the question is, where did they come? Who supplied them with weapons? And why all of a sudden, after they were defeated, they can wage attack again? This is a big question mark. And if we look at who controls the other side of the border in Syria and Iraq, you will see it's the allies of the United States. So this is the first thing that creates a lot of concerns in Iraq, because people fear, again, some suicide bombing in the cities and so on, especially before the election. The second issue is, of course, the question of corruption. We have massive protest movements in Iraq since years. Young people, unemployed, mostly working class people, from all classes and currents in Iraq, from all sects and religions and ethnicities. And they went on the street demanding better services, and especially to end of corruption and bring those who plundered the wealth of Iraq to justice. And the Minister President Abadi, since month, he promised people that he will go ahead with these corruption files. He will bring these people to court and they will be prosecuted, etc. Nothing happened. This created a lot of frustration and a lot of potential for conflict and violence within the next few months. The third question is the issue of ISIS. There's a big debate in Iraq around 2014 when al-Maliki was the minister president, who is now the vice president, and he is again want to be elected as a minister president. He was in charge of the Iraqi army at that time as the minister president, as a commander in chief, and the Iraqi army withdrew from the cities and enabled Daesh to occupy the cities. So there's a big debate how much al-Maliki and the in charge generals and officers under his commands and some militias, Kurdish militia, the Peshmergas, are actually part of this scenario. That means they committed treason vis-a-vis Iraq and the Iraqi people to secure, for al-Maliki, to secure the election in 2014, and for the al-Barzani in Kurdistan to occupy the contested territories between Iraq and Kurdistan, using Daesh to to enable Peshmerga to enter these cities. So the big debate about this issue, and none of these people was brought to justice or held accountable or prosecuted. So people are frustrated for the lack of services, continuation of corruption, and especially now before the election, the same parties and the same militias, especially the so-called the Shiite militia, the people mobilization units, now they are entering, especially the heads of these units, entering the election with their own parties, supported by Iran. That means none of the people involved in corruption or in the file of 2014 of ISIS will be prosecuted. And now these parties and militias, with the enormous amount of money they plundered from Iraq, they are buying the votes of people 2 months before the election, bribing poor people who have nothing to eat, give them some money, and promise them some jobs and so on to secure their votes before even the election starts or the election campaigning starts. That means, again, corruption at a different level. That people had hopes that this coming election would be a turning point in Iran, that different parties, different representatives of the people will make it to the parliament and to the executive and probably, prosecute corrupt ministers and Mr. Presidents and companies, etc., and represent the demand of the people in Iraq despite their different sects of religion or ethnicity and so on. But people are now so pessimistic and so resignated and frustrated that the same old scenario since 2003, introduced and institutionalized by the US, will be reproduced again, which is a pre-programmed disaster.
We talk about the war in Iraq. We talk about it as having changed the dynamics and political relations and configurations in the region. But U.S. has not really left Iraq still yet. In fact, I believe just last week, 7 U.S. soldiers were killed in a helicopter crash over Iraq. So what are U.S. troops still doing there? And what do you make of the claim made by, say, right-wing leaders such as Prime Minister Netanyahu that says that if Iraq has not been conquered, it would be used as a pawn by Iran? How has these involvements by the U.S. changed the dynamics in the region politically?
In general, what it has done, ironically, is give Iran more strength. The U.S. is still there because they're trying to keep Iran from having that much influence inside of Iraq. But let's face it, because of the U.S. invasion and taking out Saddam Hussein and putting in a Shia government, Iran has more influence in Iraq today. So certainly this is an outcome that Netanyahu did not want to see. And I think the lesson that should be drawn from the U.S. that invasions are not something that allows the U.S. to implement the kind of government that it wants seems to be lost on the people in power today when you're getting folks like Mike Pompeo to become the Secretary of State, the same Mike Pompeo who was a cheerleader for the war in Iraq. When Trump is listening to the same neocons right now that should, as far as I'm concerned, either be in jail or banned from government, are now the ones who are talking about the U.S. should get out of the nuclear deal with Iran and have a military option. So it's mind-boggling to me, Sharmini, that people don't look at the state of Iraq and the region today and say the U.S. Military should stay as far away as possible and U.S. should lose its diplomatic powers. But I think that just attests to the power of the military-industrial complex and the neocons who are never held to account for the invasion of Iraq.
All right, Medea, thank you so much for joining us on this 15th anniversary of the war in Iraq, commemoration of the war in Iraq, I should say. And Sabal Nasri, a political science at York University, I thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.